we have Professor Matt with ourselves. So we got a new topic: positive mental health and well-being through emotional intelligence. And let me introduce you Professor Matt. He has been teaching emotional intelligence for almost 40 years in the USA and beyond. He believes that one of the biggest problems in the world today is the lack of emotional education. So he co-founded and runs an international non-profit called EQ for Peace worldwide, where he teaches emotional and peace education to all ages everywhere from preschool to PhD, from home, school, and work. Please welcome Matt for a lively session of inspiration and discovery as we explore the magic of how emotional intelligence can help us heal our pain, create positive mental health, and bring peace in our lives, both inside and out. So, please, sir, thank you so much. Proceed, sir. Pranam.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for having me, and thank you for listening if you're a listener, and thank you for being interested in this subject. It's critical information. It used to be kind of nice to have information about your emotions, but now it's not funny anymore. This is very real and life-changing, life-saving maybe information. So thank you for taking some time to learn about yourself and about how other people work. So all right. Well, let's get started. I'll see if I can get some good info to you. We're going to be doing not only information, but also some engagement. I'd like you to be involved a bit. I'm going to ask some questions. I'm going to give you a quiz, an assessment quiz, and I'd like you to be involved because this is about you. It's not about me. It's not about anybody else. It's about you. And if you want to learn about you, now's a great opportunity to get started in that department. So I call it the most practical subject there is because it's about you. 24/7, 365. We can't not think and we can't not feel. And so they're kind of interesting to learn about ourselves and how to deal with our mental health and how to deal with our well-being. And that all starts with emotional intelligence. So, all right. So positive mental health, that's what we're working on. So emotional intelligence is the first part of this. It's about how our emotions work. Okay. It's intelligence. We understand how our emotions work. Secondly is how do we work them? All right. First off, understanding them is cool, but what do we do about them? How do we make this real in our lives? And so I want to talk a lot about that. And then the purpose of this is to get toward peace. We're going for peace. Inside and out. That's the point. So like I said, it'd be part lecture here and part experiential. We can't learn this you can't learn about your emotions just by reading about them in a book. AI is cool. It's given us lots of great information, but it's still not you. It's still, you got to dig into you and understand yourself. You can't learn how to swim through AI. You can't learn how to ride a bike or drive a car through AI. You can learn some, you can learn the concepts, but you got to experience it. You got to go there. And that's how it is with emotions as well. So we're kind of uncovering, if you will, and recovering inside of us to deal with ourselves. Like I said, most practical subject there is, 24/7, 365. We have to deal with our thoughts and our feelings. Our thoughts and our feelings, they are happening. Whether we like it or not, they are happening. And so I highly suggest that you get better at learning how to deal with them. We have two sides of our brain, right? This is hard to argue with. This is our brain. This is how it works. There's two sides. And this is a real brain, and lady's holding in her hand a scientist, and it's pretty wild. And that's the spinal cord going down in between. That's a real brain. So there are very distinctly two sides to it. And what we found, science is finding that there's a logical side. Your left brain is more of a logical side, more of your IQ, if you will, your cognitive sequential processing, and that's cool. And we're good about that one. But the other side is our emotions and our creativity and our passion and our freedom and all that. It's all, our senses are all on our right side. And we don't learn much about that. So we need to. And what we're finding is that our emotions are a priority because we don't know that much about them. So we're calling it EQ. I know emotional intelligence should be EI, but we're calling it EQ because it's like IQ. Most people know what IQ is. And so we go, okay, there's EQ and there's IQ, and people go, oh, okay, that makes sense. That's why we call it that. It actually stands for emotional quotient, which is a number. A quotient is a number. It's a grading, an evaluation of how much you know about your emotions, which is interesting. But it's more important is that you experience it and that you learn how to deal with yourself and your emotions for real. So what we found is that a lot of us are really good at IQ. We understand our IQ, but we're not very good at our EQ, and balance is the key. We're not saying that one's more better than the other. We need both. And IQ plus EQ equals LOL, or equals positive mental health. So, so we got to learn about both. Unfortunately, we're not really taught much about our EQ, about our right side at schools. Most schools still don't teach about it. We're starting to, which is fantastic. But it's slow going. We got so far to go. But most schools don't teach about this stuff. We learn about our left brain, our reading, writing, arithmetic, how to get a job, right? That sort of stuff, because that's important and that's cool. We need that stuff. But we need the other just as much. We also don't talk about our emotions at home. Our parents don't know very much about them, and they're very uncomfortable to talk about. And so they don't talk about them. And so where are we supposed to learn this stuff? We don't learn it in school. We don't talk about it at home, and we better not deal with them at work, right? And so where are we supposed to learn about all this? So that's cool that you're taking this time now to learn some about yourselves and about what's going on inside, because you will be surprised at how much is there. It's not rocket science. It's not particularly complicated. It's not real complicated, but there's a lot to it. You will be surprised about how much you don't know about your emotions once you dig into them. It's pretty amazing. So we don't learn. Let's learn on purpose. I'm saying also that our lack of emotional education is causing some severe social problems, especially after COVIDs. Some are saying it's the #1 problem in the world today. That's what I think. Violence, abuse, addiction, suicide. The suicide rate is awful. I don't know if you guys know about it. They don't. The news doesn't tell you as much about it because it's such a yucky subject. But the suicide rate is awful. I've got a slide on that in a minute. Divorce rates going up. Mental health problems are going up. Physical health. They're now connecting emotional problems with physical problems. And that brings us into the medical world, which is wonderful because that's where the big bucks are now, especially since COVID's. People are really interested in medical because of the diseases and the pandemic. And so that's where a lot of focus is going, and that's where money goes. And but what they're finding is that, which is really interesting, is that a lot of our physical problems may be actually connected to our emotions, especially things that happened to us as a child in the past. If we didn't deal with that stuff, which most people don't, because we don't want to talk about it and we don't know how, and it's no fun. But if we don't deal with it, they turn into physical problems as an adult. So they're called adverse childhood experiences, ACE, adverse childhood experiences. There's a whole study on it now. It's used in a lot of hospitals and medical in the United States, and it's going worldwide. And it's a big deal because they're saying that they're starting to find some connections, direct connections between your emotional problems as a child and physical problems as an adult. So, of course, it also leads to crime and even war. It's a problem. People are actually literally dying to know what we know about emotional intelligence, for real. And so we need to learn about this. Like I said, it used to be kind of a nice to have information, but now it's critical coping skills that we need. Here's that slide on that. This is in India, and this is last couple of years. Look at the rate over on the right. The suicide rate is skyrocketing now. In India, in Asia, all over Asia, in Africa, in the United States, in Europe, all over. It's going up since COVID, and that's a bad thing. That's a very bad thing, and that's a very, in my opinion, it is avoidable as with education. So I'm saying that we are born with most everything that we need. We know we have our emotions. We have all the resources not the resources. We have the scientifically and medically, we have what we need to deal with our emotions. We just don't know how to use it. So we need to educate. Educate is an education problem. It's a training issue. Aristotle said, educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. That's a little bit severe, but you get the idea. We learn cool stuff about what to do in our head, but we don't know how to deal with ourselves and each other and our feelings and our conflicts and our communications and our empathy and our compassion and stuff like that. We don't learn much about that in school specifically, and we need to. And so I'm suggesting that emotional education is the key to this whole thing. If we can accept our emotions, we can accept ourselves. They're as close as you can get to accepting yourself. And empathy and compassion are two of the most important emotional intelligence skills. This is about studying our emotions, knowing there's a whole language to it. There's a whole science to it. There's concepts. There's all kinds of things that you probably don't know about your emotions that are fascinating, in my opinion, and super relevant and super practical for you to make difference. It's a study of you. It's a study of you and me and we and all how we work. So to me, it's, like I said, I think it's fascinating. So study after study now is showing the importance of emotional intelligence, that it's actually the key to happiness. It's a key to sanity, dealing with our mental health and our mental well-being. I'm not just talking about mental illness, but actually mental health, which is how to do it. How do I work this stuff on a daily basis? And success. It turns out that people with higher emotional intelligence tend to be more successful and make more money and have more friends and are happier and actually live longer if you know how to deal with your emotions. It's kind of a big deal. So I read the other day that by far the number one subject of master's and PhD thesis are stuff to do with emotional intelligence. Number one in the world, because they're so relevant and it's so huge, and there's so much we don't know, and there's so much we could know without too much trouble, without too much cost. We can learn this stuff and do a lot better. So there's 4 steps to learning emotional intelligence, but there's 4 steps to learning anything, really. It starts with where we don't know, right? Unconsciously incompetent. That means we don't know that we don't know. Okay, you don't know, you don't know. If you don't know, you don't know, And that's where it starts. The second step is where you find out that you don't know. And I'm assuming that if you're watching this now, or you're semi-interested in emotional intelligence, that you have some idea that there's some stuff that you don't know. If you're in school, you're assuming that there's some stuff that you don't know. You don't know everything, and so you're learning, right? And so you're consciously incompetent. That means I don't know that I do know that I don't know. I do know that I don't know, and that's a big deal. That's a huge step. A lot of people kind of pound on themselves and like, oh, I should have known this. And I'm an idiot. I'm stupid. I should have known this. How are you supposed to know it? We don't teach it in school. We don't talk about it at home. How are we supposed to learn this stuff? So we're taking the time now to spend some actual time figuring it out. And that's step 3, which is called becoming consciously competent, which means that you find out how to know. You find out how to do better, how to learn more, how emotions work, how your feelings work, how your thoughts lead to your emotions, how those become your decisions and your actions, how other people work, all that kind of stuff. We can find out consciously how to know, how to do better. And then eventually you get to step 4, maybe someday. I don't know if I ever am going to, but we learn, it becomes a habit, and we just know, we just know, and we don't have to think about it a lot. We just know. So what we're talking about here in this session is going to be between steps 2 and 3, where you go, well, I'm not sure about all this stuff, so let's find out. So that's step 2 and 3. So you're already moving along the path. So, I didn't know I had a slide on each one of those. So we don't know that we don't know, and then we find out that we don't know, then we find out how to know, and then we know, and then we know. So again, we're doing steps 2 and 3 mostly here. Emotional intelligence been around for a little while. I should have a picture of the book. There was a book by Daniel Goleman. See that he's down here at the bottom of the slide. Daniel Goleman wrote a famous book now back in 1995 called Emotional Intelligence, how it can matter more than IQ. And that it's now on the Time magazine's, it's number 5 in the top 20 most influential books of all time now, which is pretty cool. It was a world changer along with a bunch of other books, but it was a big deal. And Daniel Goleman says that there are 4 parts of emotional intelligence that we need to understand. First, self-awareness. First, we got to know about ourselves. We got to know about our emotions first. We can't really do anything without awareness, right? You don't know that, and you don't know. So you find out. That's awareness. You become aware, and you go, oh, I see what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling. I become aware of myself. That's step 1. Step 2 is learning. Once you are aware of yourself, what are you going to do with that information? How do you manage you? So it's about first awareness and then being able to manage yourself. Third is social awareness, which is how do other people work? Oh, okay. Okay. All right. I see. If my thoughts and feelings are important to me, then chances are, surprise, surprise, they're important to other people as well. And so if we can be aware of other people's thoughts and feelings, and step 4, care and listen to them and deal with other people's thoughts and feelings, they like that. And that's relationship management. We're going to have better relationships if we're aware of and care and have some empathy and compassion for other people's thoughts and feelings. That is going to improve your relationships, guaranteed. So the steps real quick are knowing yourself, managing yourself, knowing others, and manage your relationships with others. Okay. Again, not rocket science, pretty simple, but not so easy sometimes. So, but this just breaks it down real nicely. Okay, so there's emotional intelligence. It's how our emotions work and the science to it. And I don't have enough time to go into much depth here. I wish I did. I have tons and tons of information on this, but I don't have time to go through it all. And but I want you to at least know that you don't know about some stuff about your emotions, and to make them a higher priority for yourself. Using that information and putting it to work in your life we are calling it positive mental health. Positive mental health. Mental health, those are great 3 words, because that tells you not only what we're doing, but how to do it, all in 3 words. We're dealing with our mental health in a positive way. We're trying to do things positive. We can think more positive. We can feel more positive. We can act more positive. We can create positivity on purpose. I call it purposeful positivity in our lives by ourselves. We can do that. We can become more positive on purpose. And so we can change our positive our mental health from being a drag and being a problem and being ailments and being disorders and all these problems. And we can make them more positive. We can make them more positive on purpose. So we're calling it positive mental health. It was based on positive psychology. That was University of Pennsylvania. Dr. Martin Seligman started positive psychology. You can now get a bachelor's, master's, and PhD in positive psychology. And basically what he's saying is that For forever, we've been doing therapy and counseling and psychology based on problems, people's problems. So they're instead of being quote unquote normal, they're having problems. So they're negative, right? They're down here in the problem area. And that the objective of psychology and therapy was always to get people back to normal, which means you're going from negative to zero, right? Well, he said, why do we have to stop there? We don't have to stop at zero. We can do better than that. We can have positive psychology. We can learn about ourselves. We can learn how to be resilient and successful and powerful and happy and joyous and loving and all those kind of good stuff. We can actually do better. And so we don't have to just go back to normal, whatever normal is, but we can do better. We can be more positive. And so positive psychology led to positive mental health, which is what we're working on now. It's making our lives look and feel as great as we can, as great as we want to. It's a wonderful thing, and it is. That's the point: is to be able to make our lives work. This is a cool definition. A friend of mine that I work with all the time came up with this definition. I like it. Positive mental health refers to the state of psychological and emotional well-being where individuals possess the skills, behaviors, and competencies, meaning you know that you know, right? You possess, you can do it. You can function optimally. You can cope with normal stress, and you can contribute positively to the world around you. Pretty cool, right? It involves the ability to work your lives in ways that promote happiness, resilience, and a sense of meaning and purpose in life. Pretty cool, right? And by the way, it's free. All of it is free. This is all, it's about being more positive. That's it. You can buy a book about it. You can take a class on it. You can, join a club on it, that kind of thing. Sometimes when you're asking for somebody's time, it's not free, but the concepts are free inside of you. Our thoughts and our feelings and our emotions and all how this works is all free inside of you. It's already there. So we just got to learn how to use it properly. And what it boils down to is that, like I was mentioning with positive psychology, if we learn how to deal with our negatives, we can become more positive. So if we can deal with life's negatives, we can learn how to do that in positive, emotionally intelligent ways. So turn that frown upside down. I like that saying. It's about learning how to deal with our negatives like fear and anger and sadness and guilt and shame and anxiety and all that stuff, all our negatives, and they're real. They're real. We got to learn how to deal with them. But if we learn how to deal with them, we can come back up and we can keep going up to love and joy and peace and harmony and resilience and success and all that good stuff. It's all up here in the positive area. So we got to learn how to deal with our negatives in order to get more positives. Some of the characteristics of positive mental health, positive self-esteem. You end up liking yourself. You end up maybe love yourself, right? You feel good about yourself. You have confidence in yourself. If you know you can deal with your negatives, if you know that you can deal with people, if you know you can handle stuff, which is basically feelings and emotions, then you feel pretty good, right? You can be pretty confident. If you know that you can, if you know you and you can know that you know, then you feel better. It's pretty cool. Emotional resilience. Resilience is, when bad stuff happens, all right, bad stuff happens. Like, for example, you see me squirming in my chair a lot. I had surgery on my knee a couple of weeks ago, and I am very uncomfortable. It hurts. It hurts, and I'm getting through it. It's getting better slowly. It's been 3 weeks yesterday, and it's getting better, but it hurts. And so I need to be able to cope with that. I need to learn how to manage my emotions, even when I am in pain physically. And it's not that much fun. One of my hashtags is it ain't always fun, but it's got to get done. And that's true. This has been pretty yucky for 3 weeks. And I'm getting through it. I mean, my choices, well, pretty severe choices, but I'm getting through it. So sorry about, I'm squirming in the chair. I'm trying to get comfortable, and it's not working. I have a sense of purpose. Positive mental health gives you a sense of purpose. You can care about other people. You can watch people make changes, and you can help people improve their lives by sharing some of this stuff and helping people understand themselves and others. And it gives you a wonderful sense of purpose. I wish for other people that they would have the strong sense of purpose that I have. It's a wonderful feeling. I can't really imagine now not having this to fall back on, and to know that I'm trying to make a difference in the world by teaching people about their emotions and about themselves. And it feels awesome. I highly recommend it. So if you don't have a great sense of purpose, if you don't have something that what we call a noble goal, 6 seconds, the biggest EQ trainer in the world, they call it having a noble goal. And that's something bigger than you, something that's huge. If you don't have a part of one of those, if you find one, and if you can't find one, you're welcome to borrow mine, borrow ours, to teach people about emotional intelligence. We can create positive relationships. We can get a sense of control over ourselves, ability to make good decisions, and to make our lives look and feel like we want them to, like I was talking about earlier. We can get good physical health. We can get a good sense of optimism, etc. There's tons of these that are benefits to learning about yourself. So there's 5 steps that I've come up with that are real simple. Again, they all start with A, coincidentally, and but they're kind of the steps to making this happen. So awareness, acceptance, taking some action or not, making allies, and accountability. And so I'll talk about each of those in a minute. So awareness. First, like I said, you can't do anything until we're aware. We can't do anything until we're aware. And so I call it name it to tame it, which means that if you know what you're feeling, if you know what you're thinking, and you know what you're feeling, it makes more sense to you. You make sense to you. You can help make sense of other people if you're aware of yourself. And that's about being aware of not only you but also being aware that of what's going on inside of you and inside of others. It really helps for you to explain yourself to yourself. So that's a kind of a big deal. Tame it, become aware of yourself. So here's awareness of how this works. Here's how things process through your body. Okay. Ready? So this is awareness thing, to be able to know what's happening. So first off, stuff happens, events happen, things happen outside of you. Things happen. The weather happens. The government happens. The school happens. Your parents do what they do. Your teachers do what they do. Your friends do what they do. Stuff happens. It just does, and things just happen. And that's life. If you get out of bed in the morning, stuff's going to happen. And if you don't get out of bed in the morning, stuff's still going to happen. So things are happening. So be aware of that. Okay, you can accept that, right? Second is we have thoughts and feelings about what's happening. Okay, now my thoughts and my feelings mean that I now have brought the outside inside. Okay, there's stuff all around me right now that I'm not aware of, and I don't have any thoughts and feelings about them right now, and so it's still outside of me. But if I look at something and I have a thought and feeling about that thing, then now it's inside of me. Now it's real, and now it's inside of me. Now I got to deal with it. Okay, it's that simple. We're very, very simple. Thought and feelings about what's going on. So first thing we do is become aware of our thoughts and feelings, right? Be aware. Awareness first, like I was saying. So while it's inside of us, we become aware. Oh, well, I'm having a thought about this. For example, someone is walking away. All right, somebody's walking away, and you become aware, and you see that person walking away. Okay, okay, they're walking away. I'm aware of that. Acceptance. So I accept that they're walking away. I can maybe call them back. I can do something about it. I can maybe try to change something, but I can accept that somebody is walking away from me, and just accept it, rather than fighting it, denying it, lying to myself about it, that sort of thing. Then I evaluate my thoughts and feelings. So I can evaluate them and go, is this what I want to think about that? For example, this person that's walking away, what if it's somebody I don't really know, and it's somebody who's walking away? Okay, big deal. I don't care that much about it. But what if somebody is walking away that I do care about, and they're walking away from me? If I feel like I think they're walking away from me, they're leaving me, they're rejecting me. Now I got big thoughts and feelings about that happening. And what do I do with that? How do I deal with those big thoughts and feelings, especially negative ones? So I evaluate them. Is this what I want to be thinking and feeling? Is this working for me? Kind of thing. Then I make decisions on that. What am I going to do about it? Am I going to, holler and try to get them back? Am I going to go plead? Am I going to write them a letter? Am I going to act like I don't care? Am I going to close my heart off because I was hurt? What am I going to do? So what I get to decide. I have lots of choices. Emotional intelligence gives us lots of choices, and we get to decide what to do with those. Okay. So once we're aware and we accept and we evaluate, we get to decide, and we decide how to act is the next one. Number 8, we get to decide if we're going to act, if we're going to do something, or we're not going to act. I'm going to say, I see that happening. I'm not going to do anything about it. That's still, whether you act or not, you're deciding whether to act or not, which means that you are in charge of you. They're not in charge of you. You're in charge of you. Nobody can make you feel anything without your permission. You're in charge of you. And so you decide whether you want to do something about it or not. You get to decide how to act or not act. That's cool because that puts you in control of your life. Of course, your bunch of your actions become who you are and your personality and what you do and what you say and what you write and that sort of thing. And so a bunch of those actions together become your behaviors, and that's how you get results in your life. You either get positive or negative results based on what you decide to do. So again, stuff happens outside. We bring it inside by our thoughts and feelings. We process it. We become aware of it. We accept what's going on. Yeah, okay, I have this thought and feeling. All right, what do I want to do with it? I evaluate it. I decide, and then I act or not act based on that. And that's how we get the results we're in our life. So outside, inside, and then, oh, by the way, actions are often make it back outside again. And so they become what are the results we get, because when we act, then now we're getting other people involved, and now other people are going to be aware of what's going on. And so you can be aware of and accept and evaluate and decide anything you want to quietly. But once you act, it's now back outside of you. And so there's maybe consequences. So just be aware of that. So awareness exercise. The very first thing for awareness is, what are you feeling? What are we feeling? What are you feeling? We often know what we're thinking, but we don't necessarily know what we're feeling. And so what are you feeling right now? So here's a question for you. You can put it in the chat if you want to, or just answer to yourself. What are you feeling right now? You could feel more than one thing at a time. This chart gives a bunch of choices. Pick a word or 2 or 7. And what are you feeling right now? And they're in areas of different kinds of feelings based on, this is one way to look at it. There's a whole bunch of different, this is called Plotchik's wheel. And these are the words that he came up with to describe all of our different feelings. He says there's 6 different colors. There's 6 different basic feelings. The problem with that, it's cool and it's interesting. The problem with that is there's a whole bunch of different theories on how many basic feelings there are. And every one of them is quite sure they're correct. So you decide what you want. Here's a real simplified version that we use for kids. It's really helpful in classes. A lot of teachers will use this sometimes once or twice or 3 times a day, just to go around the room and ask kids, what are you feeling right now? What are you feeling? Because that gives you the ability to identify it, and become aware of it, accept what you're feeling, notice that you're feeling and other people are having the same feeling. All right, which is pretty cool because it makes you feel not alone and like you're weird and broken or any of that, because other people are feeling it too. It's really helpful in creating community. Just a simple little thing to ask yourself, well, what are you feeling? What am I feeling? And it brings it up to the front of your mind, and so you can do something with it if you want to do something with it. But it's about learning about your emotions. So what are you feeling right now? Oh, it's not how are you feeling, by the way. How you're feeling often comes with, is about people give you the what they're feeling physically. If you say, how are you feeling? But if you say, what are you feeling? It gives you a better answer. All right, here's a quick quiz. This is a self-assessment quiz. I'm going to ask you 7 questions, and you rate yourself 1 through 5 on each of those 7 questions. Again, this is about awareness and acceptance, actually, but it's about awareness. So this is not only helps you identify how well you deal with specific parts of your emotions, but also gives you the steps to dealing with your emotions. So this is a pretty fun quiz. Some people have reported that it's made a huge difference in their life just in hearing how you process through your emotions. So again, I'm going to ask you 7 questions. You rate yourself. 1 is no, it does. I'm not good at that, not at all. And 5 is definitely, yes, definitely. And so it's somewhere in between there. So 5 is high, 1 is low. And so if you would just keep score, you could do it in the chat or keep score in your for yourself and add them up at the end. It's pretty simple. So again, 1 is low, 5 is high. Okay, ready? Here comes the first one. First one is awareness. Like I said, how aware are you when your body feels something like fear, anger, sadness, shame, and guilt? How well do you notice and become aware of your feelings? So 1 is I have no idea what I'm feeling. And 5 is I know exactly what I'm feeling most of the time. So where are you in there? So you pretty good, not so good, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where are you on that? On awareness. And this is really important. So a lot of people are mostly do okay with this one, fairly aware. This is not a competition, by the way. This is just you and you, between you and you. You don't have to tell anybody ever if you don't want to, but it sure is good to know. So a lot of people are fairly aware of their emotions. However, number 2, here comes number 2. Acceptance. Is it okay with you? A lot of people have a lower acceptance than they do awareness. Is it okay with you when you feel something, especially something negative like mad or sad or glad or afraid, whatever? What is that okay with you? How well do you accept your emotions rather than judging and denying them? Be honest with yourself. So you go, I'm mad right now. Okay, I'm mad right now. That's it. That's acceptance. Yeah, I am. I'm mad about this right now. Okay. All right. That's all it takes. It just takes a second, just a speed of thought kind of thing. Or you go, nope, I'm not. No, it's not it. No, I'm fine. I'm good. No, I don't get mad. I don't do that kind of thing. Right. I don't feel stuff like that. Well, maybe. Anyway, I highly suggest that you accept yourself as well. So awareness and acceptance were first. Okay, here comes the third one. Identification. When you do notice, become aware of, when you notice that you're feeling something, how well can you identify what you're feeling? How well can you separate and name your emotions? Kind of like on the chart, on the wheel, how well can you identify what's going on inside of you? A lot of people have trouble like with fear and anger. They get them mixed up and that sort of thing. But so how well can you identify what's going on, at least to yourself? You don't, like I said, you don't have to tell anybody. This is about you. But how well can you identify what's going on inside of you? It's kind of weird because sometimes it's hard to tell if you're right or not because it's between you and you, and it's a feeling. So is that right? Is that really what it's called? Or anyway, you get the idea. But you pretty much know if you're getting them right or not. Okay, so identification. How good are you at that? Next is expression. How well do you express your feelings and let them out of your body as opposed to stuffing them down inside and bottling them up inside of you? How good are you at expressing your feelings? This is a tricky one. This is where it starts to get outside of you. And this is where there might be consequences and how you express your feelings. And there are good ways to express them and not good ways to express yourself. And there are tons and tons and tons of different ways of expressing yourself, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and financially, every other way that you can express yourself. How is that going for you? How well do you express yourself? Not good, or yeah, you're pretty good at this. So as opposed to stuffing them down inside. Next, release. Okay, once your body feels a negative feeling, an unpleasant feeling, how well can you let go of that feeling and let it dissipate? Some people go, I'm angry. I'm angry. I'm angry. God, I am real, man. I am really angry. And they stay angry and stay angry, and they keep it inside of them, and they never quite let go of it, and they just stay angry all the time, and that is really hard on your body. And in fact, they're finding, like I was saying earlier, they're finding some serious physical problems as a result of that, of staying angry, especially at stuff that happened to you a long time ago, and your body shuts down and it squeezes and it compresses and it doesn't flow right. It doesn't work right because anger clogs things up and messes things up inside of you. Not just anger, but the other ones as well. So it's so important that we be able to let go of things and release things and forgive and allow and accept and that sort of thing. So how well do you release things, or do you just hang on to it? All right. Next is replace them. Now, this is something that most people don't actually think of very often. So once you have this, I got anger inside of me. It's inside of me. You can find it in your body. It might be in your chest. It might be in your neck. It might be in your back. It might be in your shoulders. It might be in your hands. Where are you holding this anger? Where are you holding this pain? Where are you holding this inside of you? When you release it, if you can find it, identify it, and then express it and release it in good ways, you can actually replace it. So you can have stuff that was pain inside of your body that's taking up room in your body. It's hard to see, but it's easy to feel. And you can release that, and then you can replace it. You can actually generate positive feelings like love and joy and peace and calmness and stuff. And you can replace these inside of your body. So you can let go of yucky stuff. And then there's a space in there, and you can release it, you can replace it, you can fill yourself up with positives. Like, right, we live in the woods. I'm looking out the window right now. There's trees and trees and trees and trees. So there's green and green and green. So we could take green and pour our green all over, or we can get blue from the sky, or white or yellow or whatever. And you can actually fill yourself up with beautiful color that's calming and soothing to you, rather than the pain that was inside of you. So how good are you at that? That's pretty cool, huh? And then here comes another one that most people don't think of is, ta-da, rejoice. How well do you encourage and respect your true feelings, complimenting yourself on your awareness, expression, and release? When's the last time you said, hey, you handled that pretty well? Hey, that was pretty good. Nice going. That kind of thing. So giving yourself a pat on the back is pretty important in this process. So check yourself on that. How well do you encourage yourself? So here's a recap of the steps. Awareness first, always. Okay, what am I feeling? Accept it. Yep. All right. I'm having a feeling and thoughts, etc. Identification. Okay, here's what I'm feeling. All right. Okay. All right. I can identify it. I can express it if I need to, and I cannot express it if I do at the wrong times in the wrong ways. I can, expressing. I think Aristotle also said expressing anger is easy. Just blasting, oh, that's easy. But doing it in the right way, at the right time, with the right person, at the right volume and the right energy and that kind of thing, that's not so easy. And so a good use of expression is tricky. But it's super important too. It's super important that we learn how to do that. And release, replace, fill back up, and rejoice. I did it. So check yourself, add up your scores. Higher is better, obviously. Again, we're not competing with anybody. See how well you did. High EQ, but 25 or better is pretty cool. Good job. Figure out, how'd you learn that stuff? Who did you learn this from? Or did you have a cool parent or a teacher or somebody that helped you with your emotions, or that you watched them and they handled them well? How'd you learn that? Because a lot of people don't know. They don't know, and they don't know that they don't know. So that's pretty cool. If you're medium in there, which is what most people end up in this area, okay, you learn some things and you need some work on some other things. My guess is probably acceptance and release and replace. Those are really important, both of those. So work on those, and then and if you have really low, then get some help pretty quickly, or start learning, or watch some more videos, or there's tons of Google emotional intelligence or EQ, and there you'll find gobs and gobs of information nowadays. There's lots of information, and most of it is free. So how do you think? What do you think and feel about your score? All right, what do you think and feel about that? What actions can you take to improve your awareness of your inner world, and what can you do better in the future? So it's a practical use of this quiz. So I hope that was helpful for you. At the end of this, I'll give a link to this PowerPoint so you can have it, and you can use this quiz in the future if you want. All right, acceptance. Okay, we're on awareness, right? We're now on step 2, which is acceptance. Oops, sorry, I'm jumping around there. And I call it spin it to win it, which means that you're accepting that they're your thoughts, they're your feelings, and that if you don't like them or they're not working for you, that you can change them, you can adjust them, you can spin it to win it, you can adjust them. If I have a thought, like that person I was telling you about that's walking away, if I start thinking, you know what, I'm going to get them for that. They hurt me. I'm going to get them for that. And that's a yucky thought. And I'm going to bring up a bunch of yucky feelings inside of me. And I might go, and if I become aware of them and accept it, and might go, you know what? I don't want to hurt that person. That's not going to be helpful. It's more helpful if I learn about what happened and why are they leaving, or what did I do, or what can I do, or that kind of stuff. That's more helpful to me to have more positive thoughts. So I'll have more positive feelings. So I just spun it. I spin it to win it. I can adjust them, and that's up to me. That's up to me. And that's pretty cool. That gives me power of my life. The most important of all of these tools is, in my opinion, is this one, which is called emotional responsibility, which means that my thoughts and my feelings are mine. I own them. They're mine. I own them. They're mine. I made them. I created them. I keep them going. I encourage myself or discourage myself with them. I validate them, and I can do something with them. I can manage them. I can do stuff with them, or not, right? It's up to me. And the cool part is, this is most important, because this seems to be the tipping point for whether you're in charge of yourself or not. If you're in charge of yourself or not, right? If you think they made you angry, if you think that they hurt your feelings, then they're in charge, and I hope they change so I can be better, right? No, no, that's not how that works. You made the thought. You decided that they were leaving you. You decided that you want to get them. You decided that they're a yucky person because of it. You made those thoughts, and therefore your feelings are anger, sadness, hurt, pain, whatever they are, because of your thoughts, right? They're just doing what they're doing. And then I can change all that. So I can be in charge of myself. We can't always control what's going on outside of us, but we do have the power to control what goes on inside of us. And that, to me, is the best news. That was a life changer for me. And I still think that's the best news I've ever gotten, ever. Accepting emotions, accepting that your emotions matter, accepting that they're a bigger part, that we accept that they're more important than we ever imagined. More important than we ever imagined. Nobody talks about emotions and stuff. And why? What do we care about that? Let's not talk about that. They're not fun. I don't want to talk about that. Well, talk about it. It's important. They're super important to your current and future life. They're important to your relationships. They're important to your success. They're important to all this stuff. So learn about your emotions and accept them. And give yourself permission to feel. Permission. We stop ourselves from feeling, and we can give ourselves permission to feel. So accepting responsibility, accepting your thoughts and feelings, accepting responsibility for your thoughts and feelings, accept the importance, accept that there's a bunch of stuff we don't know about them, accept that there's work to be done, accept all this stuff. Acceptance is a huge part of this whole work thing. Accepting yourself. U.S.A. is unconditional self-acceptance, that you just like, okay, I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm feeling what I'm feeling. I'm thinking what I'm thinking. Okay, I'm okay with that. Doesn't mean you like it, and it doesn't mean that you want to keep doing it. But first is acceptance that, yep, this is what I'm doing. Now, what I want to do with that is a whole different story. So, and then accepting others, unconditional other acceptance, U.O.A, is like, okay, they're doing what they're doing. The way my son puts it, I really like, is It is how it is. It's from Wayne Dyer. Actually, do you guys know who Dr. Wayne Dyer? He passed away a couple years ago. He said, "It is how it is, exactly as it is." Number one rule to personal growth: it is how it is, exactly as it is. Accepting that. Accepting your environment, accept that people are doing what they're doing, accept that you're probably going to think the most negative thing first. That's another acceptance. You're probably going to think one of the most negative things that you can think of first. That does not mean that's who you are or what you're about or any of that stuff. It just, that's what we do to protect ourselves often. And so we can run with that or not. We can deal with that or not. We can say, okay, this is a negative thing and that's how it is. Or we can go, that was pretty negative. What, I don't like that thought. I'm going to make myself a new thought and I'm going to do it different. So I can change it. I can spin it to win it, right? Except that we generalize. We generalize. A lot of times something will happen that's this big, and then we make it bigger and bigger and bigger and go, oh, that means my life's falling apart. That means I won't have any friends anymore. That means that nobody loves me, that kind of stuff. These big generalizations. We try to make sense of stuff and accept that that sometimes our generalizations are wrong. In fact, there's a joke about that all generalizations are wrong. If you think about that, that's kind of funny, but and it's not true. Some generalizations are true, but be careful with them. Know that if you can be more specific, if that person left you specifically, why did that person leave you at this time? Why and how are they leaving, and what happened before that, and that sort of thing. Specifically, what happened? It doesn't mean you're not lovable. It doesn't mean that nobody cares. It doesn't mean that your life is awful. Those are big generalizations. Be specific. It helps a lot. Accept that you have issues or triggers. That's stuff that that brings up strong thoughts and emotions inside of you. Stuff, probably trauma or things that happened to you as a child, gets connected to what's happening in the current, and you go, whoa, right? If I've been rejected many times in the past, and this person's rejected me again, here we go again. It's probably going to trigger some very strong thoughts and emotions inside of me, but it's not based on what this person is doing in the present. It's based on what happened in the past, and I need to deal with that. That's the big deal. And so that becomes a trigger or an issue for me. So strong thoughts and feelings need to be dealt with. So there's 3 big positive feelings: joy, peace, and love. I like to just sum things up. I'm not that smart, so I try to sum it up and do it as simple as possible. The big 3 positive feelings are, in my opinion, this is not against all the other theories: joy, peace, and love. Very simple. Very, very simple. Big 3 negatives: fear, anger, and sadness. Those are the big 3. Big fear, anger, and sadness. Most things, in my experience, I've been doing this for a while, most feelings can be summed up to fear, anger, sadness, or some combination of those. What are you feeling? And what we've found is that if you can learn to effectively manage your negatives, I'm going to stand up. This is too painful. If I can learn how to deal with my negatives, my fear, anger, and sadness, if I can learn how to deal with those effectively and powerfully and wonderfully inside of me, just those big 3, then there isn't much that life can throw at me that I can't handle. There just isn't that much that life can throw at me that I can't handle. When I found this out about myself, that I didn't know how. I had no idea how to deal with my emotions. And once I figured that out and figured out how to deal with them better, I'm not a master or anything, but I'm better at it than I used to be by far. I then can deal with stuff a lot better, and I have more self-confidence, and I feel more in control of my life, and it's going better. It's going better. So if you could deal with just those 3 simple: fear, anger, and sadness, as deep as your body feels them, then you can, there's not much that life can throw at you that you can't handle. Anything. You can handle almost anything. It's pretty cool feeling. So step 3, action. Remember, it was awareness, acceptance, action, or no action. And one of the main actions I suggest is called feel it to heal it, which means that a lot of personal growth stuff and a lot of things that you'll learn in psychology is about how not to have your negative feelings, how to avoid them at all costs sometimes. And I'm suggesting that that's not necessarily the best way to go sometimes. Sometimes the way to go is to actually feel them, to allow yourself, if you're doing fear, anger, sadness, and that you notice that that's what you're feeling, if you just let yourself feel those for a minute, even just for a minute, you will be amazed at how fast you can process things through, right? If you're sad, let yourself cry just for a minute, and your body will be like, oh, thank you, because if you stuff it down inside, it gets all clogged up and it builds up on itself and your body's a mess. It's just not good. But if you let yourself cry just for a minute, or if you're really angry, if you hurt or really angry, just let yourself feel that anger just for a minute. And it allows it becomes real. It becomes something that you can replace easily. You can let go of things so much easier than if you fight and deny them and stuff. So let yourself feel it to heal it, I call it. Let yourself feel, and your body will heal. It's a beautiful, magical thing. We've been teaching it for like 40 years. It only takes a few minutes. It's not much fun. Again, it's not much fun sometimes. But if you can allow yourself to feel what you need to feel, what your body actually feels, then it can heal itself. It will release, and you can heal yourself, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So this is important distinction, the difference. We ask ourselves a lot of time, what are we going to do about a problem, right? It's an action thing. What are you going to do about that? Okay, so this person's leaving me. What are you going to do about that? Like I said, am I going to go run after them? Am I going to go fall at their feet and beg them to stay? Am I going to throw things at them because I'm mad? What am I going to do about this problem that I have that this person's leaving? Well, that's an action. What am I going to do about it? Bigger question sometimes is, what do I do with that? Okay, the person's leaving. It doesn't matter what I'm going to do about it. What do I do with that? Now I'm hurt. I've got I feel like they left me. I feel rejected. I feel sad. I feel angry. I feel all this stuff. What do I do with those? That's different than what am I doing about the problem? What do I do with it? Another example is I have cancer. I had cancer, and I'm doing what I can do about it. I'm taking the medicine that I'm supposed to, and I try to eat what I'm supposed to, and that kind of stuff. And I go to the doctor, and I still get injections in my belly, and I go do that. Those are actions. What am I doing about this problem? What do I do with it, however, is a whole different question. What do you do with that all day long? Because I can't do anything about it most of the time, like the wars that are going on now. What am I going to do about that? Well, I don't know if I can do much about them, but I can do. What do I do with it? What do I do that, knowing that these things are happening, that people can be that vicious and cruel to each other? What do you do with that? Does it mess you up? Does it make you into a negative person? Does it make you into hopeless and powerless? What do you do with that? So this is so important to learn how to deal with your feelings and emotions, and what do you do with problems, not about them. So, and I'm suggesting that one of the actions that we take is to deal with your past. A lot of people like to say, oh, it's in the past, look forward, let it go, kind of stuff. Just pretend it didn't happen, whatever it is. I've found that that's not particularly helpful. What's more helpful is to go back there and look at what happened to you and check it out, and realize what you thought as a kid about that, and what you felt as a kid about that, and what you continue to think and feel about it. Because a lot of times stuff that happens, especially traumatic events in your life, we take stuff with it. It changes us. It affects us. Remember I was talking about be careful of your generalizations. We'll start to go, okay, well, these things happened to me as a kid, so that means that I'm unlovable. That means that nobody cares about me. That means that love hurts. Those are big, huge generalizations that I took, that I made as a kid, and I'm keeping those. Sometimes I keep them inside of me unconsciously, and I live on those based on those truths, Well, they're not truths. They're something that a little kid made up. And so, do I want to keep those? Do I want to spin them to win them? So, but first, we got to be aware of it. We got to be able to be clear about what we're thinking and feeling, so then we can change it. And so, I call it also uh, resolving generational trauma. That means, your parents most parents, in my opinion, love their kids and try to do the best they can. Sometimes they don't have any idea and they mess kids up by accident. Sometimes some people can be very, very mean. And so it's incredible what some parents do to their kids. And what do you as the kid who that happened to, what do you do with that? And maybe your parents are still treating you that way. What are you going to do with that? You want to treat you? Is that what you're going to continue? Is that what you're going to treat your kids that way? I hope not. So learn from your past. The best work you could do is working on you. This is a worksheet. You can do this later if you want to. This is it kind of shows how the past, what happened, especially trauma in the past, what happened to you. Remember I said events happen outside of us and then we bring them inside with our thoughts and feelings. Well, this is worksheet is okay. What happened? Like if you were well, I'll give you an example in just a minute. What happened to you? What did you decide about life as a result of your pain, right? What big generalizations did you make about that? What feelings came from that, and therefore what behaviors. So your thoughts and your feelings become your behavior. So what did you do with that? What are you doing with it? What have you done with it? What are you going to keep doing with it? So it's a cool worksheet that brings the past into the present and shows what happened to you in the past and how it's affecting you still in the present. Here's that's the blank one. Here's a completed one. This is me. I filled this in for myself. One of the things that happened is we moved a lot. My parents, my dad was in the Air Force, United States Air Force, and we moved a lot. All right. So, okay, that's a fact. The events that happened are facts. They happen. It's past and they happen. What did I do with that? What did I decide about life as a result of my pain? I felt unlovable. I thought people were leaving me all the time. All my friends were going. I lost all my friends because they were in the military too. And so I thought they were leaving me. I thought there was something wrong with me and that, etc. And that made me feel a bunch of really negative things and made me do a bunch of real negative things. That's the top part. The bottom part is a cool way that you can shift it. You can spin it to win it. So it still happened. We still moved a lot. That's still a fact. But what if it wasn't them? What if it wasn't, or what if it wasn't me? What if they weren't leaving me? What if they were just leaving because they were in the military also, and they didn't really, whether they wanted to or not, they were going, or we were going, one or the other. And so we separated, and I didn't have the connection. But what if that doesn't mean not lovable? What if that doesn't mean there's something wrong with me? Pretty cool, right? So I can try out different meanings, try spinning them, adjusting them, and see if that makes me feel better, which it probably will. And it'll probably make me do better things because I'll have better, more positive thoughts and feelings about what happened. The event still happened because that's a fact and that's in the past. It still happened. But what do I take from that? What do I want to decide? What do I want to do with my life as a result of stuff that happened to me? And we all get to decide all this stuff. It's pretty cool. So again, this is the blank worksheet. This will be in here if you want to use it in the future. And then here's my example of those. But I find this to be incredibly helpful. If you go through some of these, and you can realize some stuff about yourself, some meanings about yourself that are huge and great eye openers. And you can go, oh my goodness, I've been doing this. I've had my heart shut down since I was 3 years old because my grandma died or something like that. Really, for real. Or somebody hurt me and somebody was mean to me, or somebody violated me, or somebody was abused me, or that kind of thing. And so I've been hiding this whole time, or I've been closed down this whole time because I decided that, life is scary, and I never dealt with all the feelings around that. And so I've been avoiding people, or I've not been connecting for all this whole time since I was 3 or 5 or 7 years old. And it can be a huge life changer for you because you can decide to do it different. Well, that happened to you when you were 3 or 5 or 7. but that does not necessarily mean what you took it to mean as when you were a little kid. So, so if you do deal with some of your inner child stuff, we call it inner child work. It's you deal with your past. Who hurt you the most? Who or what hurt you the most? These are some tough questions. Real simple, but they're tough. Who hurt you the most? Who or what are you angry at? And who or what are you most afraid of? Remember, fear, anger, sadness. These are the big three. So these are big emotions that are stuck inside of your body. What did you decide about life as a result of your pain? Those are those meanings that I did back here. All right, that's the meanings. What did I decide about life as a result of your pain? And what is keeping you from releasing that pain? What's keeping you so that you continue to tell yourself the same story over and over and over again about how life is and how you can't trust people and how bad things are and how people are unsafe? What are you doing inside of you to make sure that continues, even if it's not helpful for you? And then the big question at the end is, what do you want to do different? What do you want to, how do you want to redecide about your life? What do you want, if you were able to spin it to win it, how would you do that? What would you change it to? So some useful processing questions inside of you. Okay, so awareness, acceptance, action, right? Awareness, I got it and I accept it, and now I'm going to do something about it or not do something about it. All right, well, here's another one of the things that you can do about it is creating allies. Allies are people on your side. Allies are people on your side, and that starts with you, right? We're trying to create safety. Safety is a key here, and safety often starts with you because you don't give yourself permission. You don't allow yourself to feel what you feel. You tell yourself you're wrong or bad or stupid or weak or all those other things that somebody probably said to you when you were 3 or 5 or 7 years old. And you are now doing that to yourself. And so you don't have permission to be yourself. You don't accept it. You don't allow yourself to be who you are. And so you shut yourself down. So you don't give yourself permission. So if you can make it safe for you, that's the biggest ally you're going to have. Your best friend in the world is going to be you, because your thoughts are going through. You got to hang out with you 24/7, 365. You're hanging out with you. And so if you can be safe to you, that's a heck of a good start. And then second is to find other people that you feel safe with. And they may or may not be family. It doesn't matter if they're family or not. But find safe people that you feel emotionally safe with, and hang out with them and make it where you can be yourself, as quote unquote, and you can express yourself and they accept you anyway. Anyway, so find safe people and be safe for them. If you want to be unconditionally accepted, then you got to do that for them as well. So you got to help other people feel safe, that their thoughts and feelings are okay. You do not, this is important, you do not have to agree with them. You just need to accept them. Well, you don't need to accept them, but you can accept. Acceptance does not mean approval. Put it that way. Acceptance does not mean approval. I can accept that somebody's hurting or somebody's mad or somebody's upset. I wouldn't have been upset about that maybe, but they are. And so I can accept that, and I can accept them because of that. And they like that. They like that. It makes people feel it makes you important to them if you're safe to them. So you create allies by being a nice person, by being a safe person, and that you want them to be safe to you as well. So that's part of of your personal growth, is finding and creating and keeping safe people around you. And then you can help people. You can teach people how to be with you, how to be safer. For example, I'm upset about something. Well, can you listen to me for a minute? I want to vent here, not complain, but vent. Those are different. And I want to talk about this for a minute. I don't need you to fix it. I don't need your brilliant advice on what to do about it. I'll manage it. I'll deal with it. But sometimes I just need somebody to talk to. I just need somebody that'll understand me and give me a little empathy and compassion. You don't have to fix it. In fact, please don't. Just acknowledge what I'm talking about, and be safe for me, please, because I need to be able to say this. It feels so much better to me if I can express myself sometimes. So we can teach people how to be there for us. Empathy is number one biggest skill in emotional intelligence. Empathy. Focus on others. Just listen to them for a minute. Sometimes the language of empathy sounds like this: oh, or or ooh, or that kind of stuff, where you just allowing yourself to kind of jump into their shoes for a minute, and they're telling you something that bothering them, and you go, I hear you. I get it. I feel you is a new term that they use in the United States a lot. Now, I feel you, bud. And that's I like it. That's a very cool term. I feel you, because it's an empathy and compassion for whatever it is they're going through. Again, you don't have to agree. It doesn't even have to make sense to you, but you can go, well, I understand that you're hurting about this. Okay. I'm going to be your friend. So I can dig it. So you can listen without judgment. You go for emotions, not the details. It doesn't really matter exactly what happened. What really matters is, what are you taking from it? What are they feeling about it? You can be careful about what you say a little bit, because it's really easy to hurt people's feelings when when they're in a vulnerable place like that. And you can learn to appreciate them. But again, empathy starts with you. If you can be okay with you and give yourself permission to feel, and be okay with you, that's a big deal. Number one skill. Okay, last is accountability. So let's see what I got here. Oh, okay, I'm missing a slide here, but okay, let me talk about accountability for a minute. There's 3 steps to accountability. Let me get to the right one. 3 steps to accountability. 1 is being accountable to yourself. That means that you know now, or hopefully you know, that there's a bunch of stuff about emotions that you probably don't know. That's being accountable. So you can go, yes, I understand that, and I'm going to find out some more about it. I'm going to make this more priority, a bigger deal in my life. I'm going to understand and learn to understand me better, and learn to understand my emotions better. That's being accountable to yourself, and do it even though it's uncomfortable. Sometimes it's really uncomfortable. It's called being comfortable, being uncomfortable. So that's about you helping you and doing the work you need to do. Second is being accountable for your allies. And that means that if you want other people to be safe to you, you be safe to them. And you also let them know what's going on for you, what's happening. If you want to stay connected with people, then you let them know what's happening in your life when you got ups and you got downs and that sort of thing, that you stay connected with them. So you connect and stay connected with other people. We're social beings, and we need to stay connected with people. And so we got to talk to them. And first is accountable to yourself. Second is accountable to your allies. And third is accountable to the world. I like to call it to the world, which means that as you learn about this stuff, most people don't learn about their emotions and positive mental health. They have no idea. They never heard those terms before. They never thought of being smart with their heart, smart with their feelings and emotions. Never even considered that. But now that you know, and now that you have some awareness, then share it, please. Share it. Talk to other people about it. Ask people. Ask people, have you ever heard of emotional intelligence or EQ? Have you? And a lot of people, probably half the people in my unscientific study says Nope. No, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I go, what do you think that means? Emotional intelligence. And they usually can come up with something like, it means maturity. And I go, yeah, exactly. Or it means, being able to deal with your pain. And I go, yeah, exactly. Right. So they can usually figure it out, but they never thought of that before. And some people have changed their life. They're like, oh, being smart with your feelings. I never thought of that. A great idea. I've had some people change their life just by asking that question. So I'm hoping, and I would like for you to share this. We have a nonprofit, and we're trying to um, teach emotional intelligence to the world, get it into schools everywhere, emotional education, and so we want you to share what you know about emotional intelligence. Is super important. Choose positivity purposefully. Know that when your feelings go up, your logic goes down. So when you get all fired up about something, you're probably not making much sense anymore, and you might make some bad decisions. So be careful while your emotions are high. Change your thoughts in this order. Change your thoughts, change your feelings, change your life. Your thoughts come first. So if you're having big feelings, check out the thoughts that are behind those feelings, because that's a big deal. And then spin it to win it. Change them if you don't like them. Connect, learn, and grow together. We're emotional beings. Like I said, we're social beings. And so find anybody really, doesn't have to be family, that you can connect with, and then stay connected with them. And it's up to you. Sometimes they'll reach out to you, but chances are you're going to have to reach out to them. So it's kind of up to you. So stay connected with people. And emotional safety is a big deal. So I'm just wrapping up here. Begin with the end in mind, I guess. Don't put this at the end. This is about our nonprofit. World peace begins with inner peace. The Dalai Lama said, world peace begins with inner peace. And we're trying, our eqforpeace.org is our nonprofit. We're trying to bring peace to the world. And that starts with inner peace. So I'm here right now in the middle of the night teaching you guys how to be peaceful inside of you by dealing with your emotions. Inner peace, Dalai Lama said, inner peace can be achieved. It must first be created inside of us and then gradually expanded to include our families, our communities, and the whole planet. So that's what we're trying to do. If we could teach you how to be more emotionally intelligent, you can be more peaceful, and you can therefore spread peace. And I think that's how it's going to work. Hard to prove, but we're going to give it a shot. So there's inner peace inside of me, interpersonal peace between us, two of us, and there's social peace among us, a group of us, that all three of those are teachable skills. And we're hoping that when enough people learn how to be peaceful inside and around them, that we will have actual world peace someday. We'll see. So how's your inner peace right now? How much inner peace do you have right now? If you were to rate yourself just for fun, 1 through 5, how peaceful do you feel? So here's our website and my email address and my WhatsApp number. If you want to get a hold of me, put it back on here in a minute. Please reach out to other people and teach them a little bit about it. We call it Each One Teach One. And they don't know that they don't know. So please tell other people about it. Give yourself permission to feel. Feelings matter a lot. Make sure that you take emotional responsibility, that your thoughts and your feelings are yours. They are yours, and not some of them, all of them. Not some of them, all of them. They didn't do it to you. You're doing it to you. And that's very good news, because if it's your fault, you can do something about it. If they did it to you, then maybe you can do something about it. Probably not. So take charge of your life by taking emotional responsibility. Manage your thoughts and feelings. Know that you have choices. You have tons of choices. The more you know about emotional intelligence, the more choices you'll find. Sometimes it's frustrating because there's so many choices, but still, they're your choices, and that's a good thing, good problem to have. And when you have all those choices, choose peace, choose love, choose kindness, choose empathy, choose compassion. You've got choices. Choose wisely, please. Please. All right. And tell other people about it. So I'll leave it here. We're done with the PowerPoint. And here's how to get a hold of me if you want to. Like I said, I will, when this is up on YouTube, I'll put in a link in the chat to the PowerPoint, to my PowerPoint. And so you can download it off of Google Drive and use it if you want to, and use some of those worksheets, etc. So, all right. If you have any questions, let me know. Please share this with other people, and good luck. Good luck.
Well, thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful session. Personally, I learned so much from this session,
Oh,
and
good.
I hope our
Great.
audience will, those who gonna watch this later, will also gonna learn. Yeah, it is very
Good,
wonderful
good.
session, sir. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.